So welcome ladies to the last episode of 10 Rules of Being Claimed. And I hope the music in the background is going to really become music to your ears, and it's really going to be part of your experience with me and claimed and everything. So this is actually a song, my theme song. I work with a producer to produce this song, and I own it, and it's really reflective of the brand claimed and the work that I'm doing. So let me just do this and then we can start. Hang on just a second. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause this and we shall begin. Okay, cool. All right, so just press, because I'm recording this for the podcast as well. All right, ladies, welcome to episode 11, or I guess rule 11, which is a bonus rule. I originally did not include that in, the 10 rules of being claimed, but I thought I should. So if you don't know me, I'm Anna Rova. I am a femininity and feminine embodiment coach, and I help single successful women, perhaps like you, who want to attract a committed masculine man. So, and I do that through a group coaching program, by the way. And why I decided to do this 10 rules of being claimed, because I realized I share this knowledge in the group, in the program, when I work with women. And I thought this is going to be very beneficial to get out there for you to get my perspective on how I view relationships, and for you to get a flavor and a sense of who I am, what I'm all about, and what I'm here to do with women, this whole polarity stuff and everything. So if you haven't watched the other 10 rules of being claimed, which is the bedrock of this whole series, please do so. And if you're listening to the podcast, welcome. You can also watch this live, well, not anymore live, but in my IGTV on my Instagram profile. You can find me as Anna Rova and watch these episodes there. Or if you're watching this on Instagram, you can always listen to this as a podcast episode, for example, if that's more convenient for you, or go to my IGTV. So this rule 11 is all about feminine embodiment. So practice the essential forgotten skill of embodiment is rule number 11. And so why I decided to include this rule is because I feel like, well, first of all, this is true. I don't talk about feminine embodiment that much. There are many reasons to it. Simply, one of the main ones is because this is how I help women get to that place of femininity, embodiment of who they are as women, deep down inside, letting go of old beliefs, letting go of structures and things that are not really helping them in attracting their committed masculine men, and getting to a place of fully embodying your feminine, your very powerful feminine that is an equal to the masculine, but it's a different energy dynamic. And so how I do that is through a modality called feminine embodiment. I first learned about feminine embodiment from Jenna Ward. If you listen to the podcast, I've interviewed Jenna Ward on my podcast. She's my mentor still, and I love learning from her. She's an amazing woman. I actually got certified as a feminine embodiment coach by her through the School of Embodied Arts. Shout out to Jenna Ward. She runs a powerful coaching certification program, which I highly recommend for any woman who's looking for a modality to make sound and profound changes. So you can go to jennaward.co. And if you apply for a discovery call, or if you enroll, please mention my name, because I'm also an affiliate of her program as well. And I've been shouting from the rooftops about her program, and I've managed to get many of podcast listeners and also my followers into her certification. So let's talk about what is embodiment in general. Embodiment is pretty much the truth, getting to the truth of who you are deep down inside, below the influences and the factors of what everybody else told you who you need to be, right? And it is an essential forgotten skill. I actually wrote quite a bit about embodiment on my blog. You can find an article called, just give me a second, it's called How to Release Stuck Energy, Thoughts and Emotions and Attract Your Masculine Men. So in that, actually, if you Google that, so just Google How to Release Stuck Energy, Anna Rova, that is a 14-minute read for you to really get into the bottom of what this is, really understand it, and then I give you specific instructions of how to practice feminine flow, something that I basically teach all of my clients as soon as they join the program, and then we build up from there. And you can see examples from Instagram where I move my body and I do this practice. I actually do this practice every day in my own life, and that's why I think I'm able to really embody the feminine within me and sustain an amazing polarity relationship with my husband and just be a collected human being in general. So, and I'm going to link to that in the show notes as well. But basically, embodiment is an essential forgotten skill, especially it is very beneficial for women. So what happens today in the modern world, most women are constantly in their head. When I get on discovery calls with women, they tell me I'm overthinking, overanalyzing, there's analysis paralysis, and I'm always in my head. Being in your head is a very masculine space to be. And so when I work with women with embodiment, we basically drop from your head into your body. Also, another thing, a lot of women who I work with, they've actually done a lot, well, not a lot, but they've tried therapy and everything. And sometimes, therapy is definitely effective. Obviously, but a lot of women come to me to do this work because they feel like there's a part missing. And I believe that this work is so transformational and amazing is because it integrates the whole body and your whole system and provides you the tools to actually go through life in a much more flowy way, where you're not frantic all the time in your head, procrastination, rationalization, so on and so on. Modern women today are overthinking everything, especially they're overthinking relationships. And so when you are overthinking relationships and asking yourself, where is this going all the time? That tells me that you're in your head, girlfriend, and you need to drop into your body. And that's how we actually let go of control. And that's how we let the men lead. But we're going to get to that part in a second, because you might be wondering, what does this thing have to do with men? But I'll tell you what it has to do. First, let's talk about, so basically embodiment, it is the getting to the truth of who you are deep down inside, and it's in the feeling of it. And so something that I learned from the beginning from Jenna, and I absolutely loved, is the depth first, structure second. So depth first is a very feminine quality. Structure second is structure is a masculine quality in itself. So, okay, sorry. I had to remove someone from my feed because they were acting weird. Anyways, so going back to that. So flow in general, feminine flow is all about that, flowing in your body and making sure that the body always has an avenue to release. The body always processes things around the day. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but I want you to understand what this is really about. It's really about giving the body an opportunity to process and release. The body stores a lot of frozen tension, and actually somatic therapists, now there's a lot of research coming that somatic therapies are actually some of the most effective therapies in dealing with PTSD, in dealing with trauma and so on and so forth. So I actually work with women who have gone through trauma, and this embodiment practice really helps them get back into safety. When you have gone through a traumatic event, what you do, especially as a child, is that you dissociate. You don't want to be in the body, because being in the body means suffering. And especially when you're a child, you don't have those tools and resources to actually process whatever you're experiencing in terms of trauma. So you dissociate from your body and you just get literally out of that experience. So it's like an out-of-body experience, you could say. So what we do in embodiment is we actually integrate all of these pieces back to you in a very safe way that is going to make a lot of sense and it's going to feel good. So some of the causes why we are disembodied today, basically embodiment in general is the truth of who you are, embodying the full spectrum of emotions and learning how to do that in a safe and powerful way, which means that, we are okay and we embody all feelings and emotions, positive and negative. We're very quick and very happy to express positive emotions, but we're very bad at actually sitting with the negative emotions and not having the answer. Uncertainty for women is a very big issue. And so when I work together with women, we really learn how to sit with uncertainty, which is a very feminine space to be, where you don't have the answer, where you don't have to fix it, or you don't have to figure it out. So this is exactly how I do this in my work with women. is through embodiment. And that's why it's so powerful, because you actually don't need to think about it. You need to do the practice and learn how to sit with it. So, we avoid pain. We go always happy, 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 the happiness trap, right? And we avoid pain. A lot of the things are also related to shame. We do not have the proper tools to express vulnerably, and we hide shame. And shame is something that's basically eating you from inside. So when I work with women, we also work on excavating deep parts of you that need to be looked at and embodied in its own right. As we go through life, we accumulate basically different experiences, beliefs, and so on and so forth. And so what the embodiment really does, it gives you an opportunity to release frozen tension that has been piled up for years and years on women's shoulders and in women's bodies. So for me, the work of embodiment has been pretty incredible. Actually, when I started the certification, 2 months in, I got pregnant. And I mean, not because of the certification, but I was also running my other course, and it was amazing, and it helped me get into the truth of who I am. And it's been more than 2 years now since I've done that certification, and embodiment has become part of my life. There are all of these cultural factors, of rules and not enoughness, and there are survival factors, the fact that we need to belong to the tribe and basic needs need to be covered. So I'll give you an example. A lot of us are disembodied simply because it is safer to say the not the right thing, to say the politically correct thing, rather than say something that will disturb the status quo. So a lot of women and people in general go against their own truth simply because we want to belong, simply because we want to be liked, simply because we want to fit that mold of who a modern woman should be like, right? A lot of women go, push in order to fit that criteria of superwoman syndrome. But it doesn't work. It's not sustainable. But we feel like we need to keep going, and we need to adhere to that standard or that idea that perhaps parents put into our hands, society, and so on and so forth. And so there's that also thing about fight, flight, freeze response that is definitely our limbic brain responds to that. And so a lot of the times we don't even know how to process that, especially when we're women. We don't give the body an opportunity to process that when we're in danger, right? So if you look at the animal kingdom, a lot of the times when they're in danger, they have a reflex to shake it off, for example. And I do this as well in my body. So we avoid completion, we avoid feeling, because feeling is uncomfortable, feeling is scary, and we don't know how to do it. So what this leads to is actually numbness. A lot of women are numb to their sensations and to their feelings, and going for things that would help them numb it out and not feel. My biggest issue with this was emotional eating, and so for others it might be cigarettes, drugs, and alcohol, and I've definitely used that as well. But we constantly go for that thing of like, what is going to make me feel better, what is going to fix this, and how can I stop feeling this way right away as soon as possible. Well, that is not the answer and the solution. The solution is to actually feel it and go through it, but you need to have proper tools and resources to go through that in a powerful way. So I want to read you a quote from Jenna Ward, as I mentioned, who's my mentor and who is one of the leaders in feminine embodiment movement. As we deny our flow, we deny our essence. We deny our essence's ability to occupy this body. We tell ourselves it's not okay to be, do, say, experience this thing. We don't want to welcome the uncomfortable. We don't let our deepest natural instinct express itself to completion. We label this part of ourselves as wrong. This wrong part of us is thus, of course, not good enough. So now we have shame overlaying the pain. Another uncomfortable experience we don't want to welcome. Each moment creates its own brick of frozen tension, building a wall higher and higher between us and what we don't want to feel, blocking our flow and the feminine gifts that come with it. This wall blocks out the root texture of life, feeling. I love it. Jen is beautiful with her words. So basically that's it. The root textures of life is feeling. right? And when we go back to like, what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is literally to experience life, and to know how to go through it in a sustainable way through all the ups and downs. So basically feminine embodiment, very generic, but now let's talk about what I basically share with women when we start working together. First of all, that you're not broken, and that the solution to your feelings of perhaps despair and frustration, and especially when it's connected to men, is liberation of those feelings and going through them. So we need to go from frozen to flow, and from disembodied to embodied. By the way, I mentioned these subjects as well in my signature webinar training on how to attract committed masculine men. So you can go to growthskill.com/webinar, sign up for that, so that you can get a gist of my philosophy on relationships, how I work with women, and also embodiment. So let's talk about now, what does this embodiment thing have to do with attracting committed masculine men? So simply put, a woman who is connected to her body is the biggest magnet for masculine men, and I'll explain why. For me, and it took me a while in the beginning, it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is stupid, this is unproductive, what is this embodiment thing? It was very strange. But then I think after about 6 months of practicing, my chakras have opened up, and all of my doors and everything have opened up, and I really, stepping into my body and being connected to it has been the biggest journey of my life, because I became so much connected to myself and my own truth, and I released a lot of the shame and beliefs and things that were keeping me from diving deep into who I am and expressing that freely, and being in my feminine energy and my feminine flow. And even in sex, for example, right? I became so much more in tune with my body, and I understood that, oh my God, the most successful women that you see out there that are not driven by material success or by the numbers or by their degrees or by their achievements, who are driven by their own worth and value, who are so in love with their life and are producing incredible success in the world and for themselves personally and professionally in a true wild woman way. Like, there's a difference between a woman who's pushing so hard, working like a workhorse, and a woman who's extremely magnetic in her own body, that things happen for her. She lives a life where she basically doesn't need to do much. Things just happen for her. And she attracts so much masculine energy around her, in terms of men, in terms of opportunities, in terms of the universe, in terms of business and money. But yet she doesn't do much. And these women, I think, are in the minority currently, but they are there. And I can tell you that the practice of magnetism, which is embodiment and being in my body and being free in my own being, has brought me a lot of success in my business, in my personal life, in my girlfriends, because I got to the bottom of who I am, and I'm still going. Like, this is an ongoing practice that never finishes. But I don't act from a place of proving something to someone, or like, I don't give a shit what people think about me, I mean, of course, I'm hurt when I'm criticized, but I'm not here to please you, Like, I run a business, I work with women. Some, thank you, Kendall. She's saying, amen, sister. Some women write me some pretty crazy messages, like, I've been called a psychopath, and I've been called whatever, and they don't agree with my message. And I'm like, that's totally cool, like, you stay in your own lane. Please unsubscribe. I'm not here to please you. I'm not here to convince you of anything, really. If you resonate, join my Facebook Live or whatever. If you resonate, listen to my podcast. If not, like, be on your own way, sister. So, but it's a practice. It's a practice of constantly opening up, constantly being there for yourself and putting yourself first, and going through my 10 rules of being claimed, obviously. But nowadays, I live my life in my body and in my life, and I just do what I think is right. Of course, I ask for advice and everything, and I also stay in that feminine flow. How do you stay in the insecurity of, where is this relationship going? You stay in your body in the present moment. You drop from your head into your body, where you don't have to control it. So a woman connected to her body, and this is where actually sexuality comes in. So my way, and obviously I'm not a sexuality coach, but your way into your body and into sex and an amazing sexual relationship. Like I've had the best sex of my life after I started embodiment and after I had my baby, in fact. Well, that's because we kind of schedule sex as well, but that's also because I released of the expectations of orgasm or that this has to do and be something. I'm just in my body connecting to my man in intimacy. This is yet so simple, but yet so complicated, right? So a woman who is in her body and in her sexuality is powerful beyond measure, and she will attract men who are amazing men and who can give her what she wants, and she can give herself to them. And so, embodiment is something that is, that is a channel to get into that. Because I literally, when I started making really good money with my business, I was feeling it in my womb, in my vagina, in my breasts. Like, it's crazy. But here's where a woman's power lies. And so for us, achieving the success that we want to achieve, it's not through thinking through it. It's actually through feeling through it and being in your body. Plus you add the structure to it. So that I think there's no way to achieve what you want to achieve in terms of success just doing embodiment work and being in your body and the depth of it, but that is the first step. And then after that you get into the structure of it, right? So you build the systems and the processes around what you want and being in your body. So that's magnetism. That's how it works. It's that instinctual knowing. And when I work with women, I help them really connect to their wild woman. Every woman has a wild woman who's a wild horse, who's not a workhorse, who's a woman who is born to live free and to live her life how she wants to live it and be excited about it every day. Well, maybe not every day because that's impossible, but living a life where you're truly connected to who you are. And this is such a powerful effect on the men that you're going to attract, because that is feminine energy. Masculine committed men or healthy masculine men, they want to be with women who are in their bodies here and now in their femininity, and who can let them lead and let them take space and be the protectors and the providers that they want to be and we want them to be. And it's not through your head, it's through your body. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about today. And if you're interested about this more, please direct message me on Instagram. We can take this further. But in the article that I provided, that I told you about, again, how to release stuck energy, thoughts and emotions and attract your masculine men, I think there's a podcast episode around it. I can't remember I think I did it. You will see specific instructions, hot tips on how to do a feminine flow movement practice that is going to take you one song a day. And I also share with you my favorite playlist with I think there's 100 songs. It's called Move with Anna Rova. That you can do this in your daily practice. And of course, if you need more help, if you need more support, and you're very curious about working with me, so how we can get you from being single, successful, and still alone, and not understanding why you're not attracting the man that you want, then you can definitely talk to me about getting on a discovery call and seeing if you'd be a great fit for the program that I run for women. So that's pretty much it. The action step for you is to read that article or listen to that episode and really get into it and start moving your body. And if you scroll my Instagram, you will see posts about me doing the practice. And I very much recommend that you start doing this daily and get dropping from your head into your body. So next episode is going to be all about summarizing all of the 11 rules, going through them one by one. And I think I'm going to do that Sunday night, 8 p.m. PST. And then telling you, more about how we could work together if you're interested. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks so much, Kendall. Beautiful words from you. I really appreciate you as well. And thanks for following me. Okay. So I think that's it. If nobody has any questions, then we can wrap this up, and I'm gonna go and have a nice 1.5 day weekend. If you are in the US and you're celebrating 4th of July, happy 4th of July. And I'll see you on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Okay, bye.